We begin tonight with breaking developments in our water crisis as we've learned that Lake Corpus Christi has now dropped below 10%.
What would you do if tomorrow morning you walked into your kitchen, turned the tap, and nothing came out? No sound, no water, just air. At first, you'd think it's a small issue, maybe a pipe problem, maybe maintenance work. You'd wait a few minutes, try again. Still nothing. Then you step outside. Your neighbors are doing the same thing, confused, frustrated. Phones start ringing. Messages start spreading. And within hours, one realization begins to settle in. This isn't just your house. This isn't just your street. This is something bigger. Now imagine finding out the reason isn't inside your home. It's miles away. At a place you've probably never seen, a reservoir. Because right now, in parts of Texas, that exact scenario is getting closer to reality. One of the region's most important water reservoirs has dropped to just 7% of its total capacity. 7%. Not half, not even close. 7. And that number changes everything. At full capacity, a reservoir represents stability. It stores water for the future. It protects against drought. It keeps cities running. It's the silent system that people rarely think about because it always works until it doesn't. At 7%, the system is no longer stable. It's fragile because reservoirs are built with margins, safety buffers, room for error. When water levels drop too low, those margins disappear. And without margin, every small problem becomes a serious one. The transformation doesn't happen all at once. There's no dramatic moment where everything suddenly collapses. Instead, it begins slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. The shoreline starts to move. At first, just a few inches, then a few feet. Then entire sections of land begin to emerge where water once covered everything. Dry, cracked earth replaces the surface of the reservoir. Grass and debris appear in places that used to be underwater. Old paths reappear. Forgotten land returns. Things that haven't been seen in years begin to show themselves again. Boat docks no longer float. They hang above the ground, disconnected from the water. Ramps stretch out into empty space. The distance between land and water grows larger every day. But what you see on the surface is only part of the story. Because the real problem is happening underneath. Water systems depend on infrastructure, pipes, pumps, intake structures. All of them are designed for a specific water level, a specific depth. When water drops too low, those systems begin to fail. Pumps can't reach properly. Pressure becomes unstable. Air enters the system. Flow becomes inconsistent. And when that happens, water may still exist, but it can no longer be delivered reliably. For nearly 500 Zalozan people, that's where the crisis becomes real, because it's no longer about how much water is left. It's about whether that water can actually reach them. And the truth is, this didn't happen overnight. There was no explosion, no sudden disaster, no single moment where everything changed. It started years ago. With changes so small, most people didn't notice. Rainfall patterns began to shift. Some seasons brought less rain. Others brought it too late to matter. Storms became unpredictable. Dry periods lasted longer than before. At first, these changes didn't feel serious. They felt temporary, something that would fix itself. But over time, the pattern became clear. Less water was entering the system. At the same time, temperatures were rising, slowly, steadily, and with higher temperatures came a hidden loss. Evaporation. Water disappearing into the air before it could be stored, before it could be used, before it could support the system. So while supply was decreasing, something else was increasing. Demand. Across Texas, population growth continued. Cities expanded rapidly. More homes were built. More businesses opened. More people needed more water. Agriculture remained dependent on irrigation. Fields needed water to survive. Crops required consistent supply. Industries relied on water for production, cooling systems, manufacturing processes, energy generation. The system kept giving, even as it was receiving less water coming in, more water going out, and slowly the balance began to disappear. At first, the system absorbed the pressure. Reservoir levels dropped slightly, then recovered. Everything still felt under control. But each year, recovery became weaker. Each dry season had a stronger impact. Each drop in water level lasted longer than before, until finally, the system reached a point where it could no longer hide the problem. 7%. That number is not just low. It's critical, because below certain levels, water doesn't just decrease. It changes, sediment becomes more concentrated, water becomes murkier, quality declines, temperatures rise faster in shallow water, algae growth increases, oxygen levels drop, treatment becomes harder, more expensive, more complex. Even if water is still there, it becomes harder to use. And that's where the real danger begins, because water systems depend on reliability, consistency, predictability. When those things disappear, everything connected to them becomes unstable. Cities begin to impose restrictions, limits on usage, emergency plans. But restrictions can only do so much, because when supply drops too low, there is only so much you can control. This is not just a local issue. Across the world, water systems are facing similar pressure, reservoirs shrinking, rivers becoming unpredictable, demand increasing faster than supply. But what makes this situation different is how close it is to failure. 500,000 people right now, not in the future, not in theory. And the most concerning part, it didn't feel urgent until it became unavoidable, because this is how real crises happen. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, quietly. Water doesn't disappear all at once. It fades, levels drop, access becomes limited, systems begin to struggle. And eventually, what once felt guaranteed no longer is. That's the real story, not a collapse, not a single event, but a process, a system under pressure, a resource being stretched, a balance that no longer exists. And the most dangerous moment is not when the reservoir is empty. It's when it's almost empty, because that's when the illusion of stability still exists. Just enough water to feel safe, just enough supply to delay action, but not enough to sustain the future. And that's where the real question begins. Not how much water is left, but how long the system can continue to function before it stops working completely. Because when that moment comes, it won't feel sudden. It will feel inevitable. And by then, the warning signs will already be behind us. This is not just about a reservoir. It's about how systems fail. Not through one big moment, but through thousands of small ones, small changes, small losses, small warnings, ignored until they become impossible to ignore. And by that point, the outcome is no longer uncertain. It's already decided. Because when water disappears, everything changes. And once that line is crossed, there is no easy way back.